KSW.
Please welcome to the show, Mike McCready.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Mike, good to have you back.
Thank you, BJ.
You know, of course, yesterday was your birthday.
Yes.
And yesterday we had a big celebration. We decided, and we didn't know at the time it was your birthday yesterday, but we decided that, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to honor the Seattle music scene, the Seattle sound, and play all day long. We played all the bands that pretty much were playing at the time when the Big Four broke out. And, of course, that's you guys and Nirvana. And, you know,
Soundgarden, Alice in Chains.
And then all the bands that also were doing stuff around the time when everybody was just starting out.
Yeah. Mudhoney and all those fun
Trees,
bands. Yeah.
So we did that, and the reason we did it was that was the day, unfortunately, that Kurt Cobain passed away, and they believe the same day that Lane Staley passed away. And then someone points out, it's Mike McCready's birthday, and it's weird.
Hey, there's something positive in there. I think, right?
Well, we thought about it's so odd, the coincidental nexus of that date, where really three of the Big Four bands, that's a major date for three members of those bands.
Yeah, I mean, well, unfortunately, the two other guys that didn't make it, around that time, who were fantastic musicians, obviously in their own right, and Lane, certainly a really good friend of mine. I didn't know Kurt that well, but I saw those guys play all the time. But certainly, I missed Lane a lot. Sometimes, it's just because he was a very cool guy, and he was a fantastic guy to work with on the Mad Season record. He was just perfect, knew how to do all of his parts, just came up with great ideas, and never had a bad word to say about anybody. That was kind of the cool thing about Lane, which is weird because we were always saying bad shit about everything.
Stand by.
Sorry. Boy, now they're coming to get me.
Great.
Sorry.
But the internet, now you internet audience, you iPhone and Android phone listeners, you got a treat.
Sorry, Seattle. So I didn't really offend the blue laws of Seattle.
Make that a ringtone, by the way.
Yeah. At any rate, it's it's April 5th. What a weird time. They found Kurt, and unfortunately, and I would have been interesting to see what he would have done. Had he hung out.
Yeah. Well, we did talk about that yesterday because, Steve, didn't you say there were rumors, or at least there was rumblings, that he wanted to go more folksy?
Well, you always heard those stories that he was done with Nirvana and he was going to go and be more an acoustic performer, and it's just, I would love to have heard what would have happened.
It would have been cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure no matter what he would have done, it would have been great because his songs were just so amazing.
Well, and I made the comparison, and again, if you're a Beatles fan, you'll hate me for this, but I don't think you should, because great music is great music. And we saw where John Lennon went, who was alive a little longer, at least as far as going out on his own. I don't know. Paul McCartney, some people don't like the road he traveled, but it is interesting to see where the greats go as they age, because you do change in life.
Right, and you just continually want to keep doing music. I mean, it's just, I think that's the way it is. I mean, the Stones are still doing it. Paul McCartney still has an amazing band, and he still does some stuff. So I think once you create stuff, you want to keep doing it as long as you can.
And sometimes it's not how you think. You take a look at, I look at, I can't think of his name, the guy from Oingo Boingo who does all the
Danny Elfman, he does the film scores.
Yeah, him and Mark Mothersbaugh, of course, from
Who's
Devo.
A genius on Rushmore and all those.
Yeah, does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of folks forget he did the theme for Rugrats, which many of my kids in their generation grew up watching that TV show, and that was the Devo front guy.
Oh, even the dude from They Might Be Giants has gone on to do a lot of television scores and movies.
I'm starting to do a little bit of that myself, just to plug myself. I did a couple episodes of Fringe, and
that's awesome.
And that was pretty fun. And
really? I love that show. Really?
One's called Northwest Passage, and I can't recall what the other episode is. It was after that, and then the Hawaii Five-0, one of the episodes last year.
You've done one of them too.
Mm-hmm. Parts of it. Yeah.
So how does that happen? Is it something where you say, "Hey, I want to do this," or they said, "Hey, we need somebody," and someone's like, "Oh, well, Mike's the perfect guy for that."
Well, you hope that's what happens, but you kind of go down there and just meet with people and go, "Hey, I want to start doing this on my time off," and are you interested in giving me a shot? And it's a craft, and I have to learn it like anything else. And some of it's been fun, and some of it's been kind of hard, and it's starting to kind of trickle in a little bit right now.
So you go out, create the score for part of the episode or the whole episode?
It depends on what the direction is. They generally have people writing music for every episode, so I'll collaborate with a guy, or the director will go, "Hey, create something called the Yakuza theme or something for the Hawaii Five-0 thing." So I did that, and so that's pretty fun.
And are you credited on the if I pay attention to the end of the episode?
At the end of Hawaii Five-0 and Fringe, I'm both credited on both those.
Well, I should make up like a sweet stage name, like that way no one knows it's you, like something like,
I want people to know it's me, though. I want you guys to be talking about Danny Elfman and Mike McCready and Mark Mothersbaugh in the same sentence, which hopefully would happen.
Is there a TV show out there right now that you would love to get involved with?
I'd love to get involved with Shameless. I'd love to get
That's a great show, by the way.
Right.
That show is awesome.
Nurse Betty.
Jackie.
Sorry, Nurse Jackie. Any of the kind of HBO Showtime stuff is cutting edge.
Let me tell you this: have you watched that show, Justified?
Haven't seen that, no.
Okay, I would love to, because I forget the band that does it, but it's a fusion of bluegrass and rap as far as the intro for Justified. If you can find it, Rev, find just the opening theme to Justified, and we'll give Mike a little lick of that. But there's a show I'd love to see what you could do with, because I love the show. Timothy Oliphant from Deadwood, and Walton Coggins from The Shield, who played Shane on The Shield. It's a great show, and getting lots of rave reviews by the critics. It's sort of like this. It's a Western criminal drama, and you got the theme. Let's let Mike McCready hear that a little bit. Yeah, and
that's cool, because they're obviously putting two genres together, and just, who would have thought bluegrass and rap together in one
thing? I know, and I tell you what, a lot of us,
and it works.
A lot of us will fast forward the intros, or hardly. They don't even have intros to TV shows anymore.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't. Like, I DVR it, but I let that whole beginning play because I just love the sound of that.
What's the Stevie Buscemi one that was just out?
The Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah, you did that?
No. I love
the show.
Although that's kind of the 20s music, so but that show is unbelievable.
Well, that sounds like that could be really cool for a musician to be able to go and just come up with chops for the different vibes of a show.
It's a different experience because you have to write behind the scene. You can't go, I'm writing this whole score and it's going to be up front. It's got to be barely audible sometimes, and it's got to not step over the scene. So you have to think in different terms, and Pete Droge and I are doing a little bit of that too.
So I'm wondering, because when they have like the DVD, the other thing too, when they have the DVDs they release or the Blu-rays, they always give you a lot of pieces, and part of it is the scoring. It'd be cool to see Mike McCready talk about why he scored a Fringe episode the way he did.
Yeah. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah, because I had no idea you were scoring Fringe, which is one of my favorite shows. And
I'm just a guest scorer. I'm not scoring it. But
even a little bit, like when you were on. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was very honored to be able to be part of that show. So
the
reason I can do more.
The reason Mike is here, and we of course we can talk to you for hours about a lot of cool stuff, but I do want to make sure we get out. The reason you're here, of course, is that you are doing again your annual benefit for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, and your UFO tribute band Flight to Mars is going to be there.
Yeah.
Also, a reunion show, Lazy Susan, from what I understand.
Yeah, they're coming back. Kim Virant posted the idea to me, and just posed the idea to me at a dinner one night, and it just sounded like a cool idea, and I'm glad she wants to get back in and start to rock with those guys. And Tim's super excited about it. Tim DiGiulio and Brian Kenny and all those.
I remember the way I got introduced to Lazy Susan. It's a silly way, but I remember when Pearl Jam first started playing and getting the mainstream appeal, and I'm watching it, and I remember seeing you wear a Lazy Susan shirt all the time in different photo page magazines or whatever it may be, and that got me. Oh, if Mike McCready likes him, I got to go check him out. It's funny how you get turned on to certain bands.
My promotion worked. I'm glad. I think Jeff actually painted that shirt, and I wore it on Saturday Night Live. That was it. So
that's hilarious.
I've got a chance. I can help some other guys out, and I help my buddies out. So
yesterday we were talking.
I guess it did.
It worked. At least you got one new fan for that reason.
Awesome.
And let me just say, the show, by the way, is this Friday at the Showbox at the Market. Go to showboxonline.com to get tickets to this show. And again, it's a good cause, Crohn's and Colitis, which is near, of course, to Mike's life, and as well as the fact that you're going to get to see some great music. Flight to Mars, which Mike is in, his tribute band to UFO. This Friday, Showbox at the Market, and it is a charity show. Showboxonline.com is where you got to go.
I want to ask you, because yesterday we did spend a lot of time talking about the Seattle music scene in the late 80s, early 90s, and we spent a good hour taking calls from people that experienced being around during that time and their favorite memories. And I was wondering, for you, when we knew we were going to have you on, I'm like, I wonder what Mike's favorite memory was during that time where everything was just starting to build and it was about to bubble over outside of Seattle.
I think one of my first favorite memories, although I had more anxiety at the time, was when we played our first show at the off-ramp now, Graceland, or I forget what it is now.
El Corazon.
El Corazon.
Yeah.
It's been all those, but we were at the off-ramp at the time, and we had been together for 6 days as a band with Eddie, and prior to that, yeah. But prior to that, the core of us, Stone, Jeff, and I, and Matt Cameron had been doing demos and working on songs for a couple months prior to that. Ed came up, and then we recorded with him for like 6 days and jammed with him in the studio down at Galleria Potato Head, which is down next by Mama's down there. And on the 7th day, we decided to do a show, and which I thought was a little crazy because we were not out of our Polygram contract yet, and Stone and Jeff wanted to be out of that, and I thought if they find out how good we are, they're not going to let us out of that contract. And I felt we were pretty good because it instantly felt good as a band. Playing down at playing that first show was a very life-changing moment for me, for sure. It was just very crowded. Eddie was super shy. And he was just barely, kind of looking out at the crowd, and it was like, oh, I think we got something here. So there was that, and we played the Rock Candy. I remember seeing the line around the block. That was pretty amazing. Or getting Nirvana played at the Motor Speedway thing, which I think is gone now, which is right around this corner. I remember that being a pretty cool show. I mean, there's tons of stuff that went on.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.